Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you all for registering for this course. I feel very blessed to start a course like this. Some of our friends in Coimbatore, we have been studying together. I've been teaching them an introduction to Vedanta course. Then they wanted to study further, and I'm teaching a Sanskrit class. So some of them also wanted to have a course. So then I spoke to Swamiji, and Swamiji encouraged all of us, and he blessed us to start this course. And so, with the infinite grace of Pujya Swamiji, Swami Siddharthanandaji, Swami Tattvabodha, Dakshinamurti, Saraswati Devi, everybody's grace is there here today. I really invoke the grace so that we can all meet and study Tattvabodha. I really believe that it is this it is the kataksham of Parameshwara that makes us all come here like this. Such a thing cannot be planned. I did not plan to take this course, and if something like this is happening, then it must be a force that is making us do this, meet like this, and study like this. So, studying of the Shastram, they say, however much we are interested in, the time has to come. All, as they say, all the stars have to fall in place in order for this to happen. So I'm deeply grateful to our acharyas that we could meet here now. So before we continue further, just want to do one more check whether everybody is able to hear me properly.
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So that is a big blessing in itself that we could see. You can see the blessing right now, right? So with so many factors have to come in place, 20 people's internet has to be working properly. The power supply has to be there in all our households, especially in India. We don't know. Anytime the lights will go off like this. So many factors are there. And we are all awake in India at 6 o'clock in the morning. That's also a blessing. So all blessings are coming together, as you can see. So this technology, even I am new to it, even though I have been teaching Sanskrit to a group of 20 students. And that's a highly interactive class. So I was apprehensive about this technology, but somehow that has worked out quite well. And for Vedanta class like this, doesn't have to be that interactive. So I'm a little more confident that we can all benefit from this technology. So we will learn a little bit as we go along. If some of us are a little uncomfortable, etc. Because all things have to be in place. For example, I use a laptop, and the speaker on the laptop is not good, so I have to connect an external speaker. So if you are in a situation like that, and if you find that you can't hear properly, you may have to augment your computer system with all these side accessories. The video camera in my laptop is not good, so I had to buy another video camera and put it. It is hanging on top of the laptop. So I have to do a few things in order for the technology to help us even more. So some of you may have to do that. If you feel that there is some barrier in following. See, I will be talking in English primarily, and I will try my best to have a proper pace and in a language that all of us can understand. So in general, when we talk in Vedanta, the communication is so critical. And we all learned from those of us who have learned from Pujya Swamiji and Swami Paramathanandaji and Swami Omkaranandaji and others, and many others. We all know very well how they use words, how carefully they speak. And so I will try my best to 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 exercise discipline over the words that we are using. And there is another tradition. So when we study in an ashram, for example, suppose you attended a camp for 1 week at Ramakrishna Mission or Ashavidya Gurukulam, the teacher, the Swamiji is teaching, and the teaching is continuous, which means, let's say the class is 1 hour, and the Swamiji will talk for 1 hour and then complete. So there are no, you can't raise your hand in between after 5 minutes and say, Swamiji, I heard the word karma. Can you explain what karma is? So like this, we generally don't do that in an ashram. And uh, that's because it is part of the teaching. A good teacher, as Swamiji says, will organize their thoughts properly, and the words will flow out. And if a word is used that requires explanation, the teacher will immediately point out, hey, I've just used a word, I'm going to explain it, and like that he will explain it. So like that it goes. So in general, in a class like when Swamiji is teaching, we will have doubts, no doubt. Doubts will be there. In fact, in any subject where understanding is required, when something is to be understood, then logic has to be used, and we have to reconcile all the thoughts we have. So we will have doubts. So one of the things I'm thinking, so what we used to do in the ashram is we used to meet Swamiji after the class. Typically in an ashram, Swamiji will move away from the main seat and sit on the side. In Coimbatore, in the ashram, that's what he will do. He'll come back at 9 o'clock after class is over. He will sit on the side, and any of us who has questions, we will go to him and then sit around him and we will ask questions. So we can follow that technique. I want to, let's say after 55 minutes or 1 hour, I will conclude. And then anybody who wants to leave can leave. And anybody who has questions can ask. And we can see how best we can clarify that. So that's one technique we can follow. And another thing I should do, I think, in a class like this, is to periodically ask if everybody is able to hear, if the technology is working out. So for example, now I'm going to pause and I'm going to unmute all of you, which I've done. And I will ask the question, is everybody able to hear me?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Hear you.
Yes.
So that's a good sign. This is a good sign.
Yeah.
This means good. Okay. So, some of, there are some, I was teaching for the last 6 months at a senior citizens home. And here it's called Nana Nani. And there are three of them, Chitra ji and Vasanta ji and Revati ji. If you can raise your hands. Yeah, so they're all here. And, it is not normal to expect, those who are not used to technology to say, we are meeting on Zoom means it can be a very challenging thing. What do you mean? We are meeting on the computer. We are meeting on the computer. How do you meet on a computer? So I went to their homes. I set up this Zoom for them, a couple of them at least. And so it was, so I appreciate that they could also join us here. And they have taken the time and they are now getting used to the technology. So very happy about that. So periodically I may do that. If I forget, you please somebody raise a hand, somebody say, hey, stop, something is wrong. Your video is frozen. Uh, we can't hear you. Maybe some signs like that we may have to adopt, so we can we can communicate. Otherwise, I'm lost in my own words here, and you're lost, and many people of you are lost, and we don't want to be too lost when in this class. We want to enjoy every minute of it. We want to understand every word that is spoken. And so I'm just alerting you that this technology, I am sitting in a village. Vadavalli is a rural area of Coimbatore. It is labeled as a rural area. So, but thanks to Reliance, once in a while we have to thank Ambani, and so thanks to him, we have this. I have this little device, small device, which is working very well. So, okay. So Sapna ji is asking, can we use the chat mode to communicate? And yes, we can use the chat mode. Definitely, I think I should remember to open the chat when it pops up. And so, yeah, we can definitely use the chat mode. And somebody said that they don't have a microphone. So, if you don't have a microphone, then you can use the chat mode to ask questions. That is advantage. But if you want to ask, the chat is obviously, I mean, the microphone is useful if you want to speak, you want to ask a question verbally. And so if you don't have a microphone, then there are ways in which you can buy a microphone and attach it to your system. That's very possible. So please ask a friend or a neighbor to help you with that. And any questions, let's communicate in the news group so that we can all feel comfortable with this technology. Some of the young chaps are here, and I see a lot of young faces. And for them, I'm sure this is what do they say, cup of tea or something like that. So very simple. So we can seek their advice on how to solve technology issues. So, so first of all, thank you for expressing yourself in that registration form. One of the questions I always ask is, why do you want to attend a course like this? And many of you have said you've had a lot of background in Vedanta. In fact, Swapna and many others. Sanjeev Nair is taking a course for many years. They've been studying Bhagavad Gita. Swami Paramathananda ji, Swami Dayananda ji's talks. Some of you have been studying for decades, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And Venkateshan ji is there, studied a lot. So I want to tell you all that yes, you have taken the course because perhaps you needed a refresher of Tattvabodha, or you may not have studied Tattvabodha. So that is understandable. But in order for all of us, especially the new members who have not been exposed to Vedanta, to come into the textbook of Tattvabodha, I have to bring everybody to some level of understanding, minimum level of understanding. What is Vedanta? How is Vedanta connected with Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita? What do we get out of studying Vedanta? Etc. Some minimum level of understanding is required. So I will be spending the first 4, 5, 6 weeks to give that introduction to Vedanta itself. I should say introduction to an introduction to Vedanta, if you will, so that everybody comes to the same level. So Venkateshan ji has raised his hand. Can you unmute you? You are welcome to unmute yourself, ask a question, and then mute yourself.
So everything is fine. So I am blessed with the listening lectures of Swami Dayananda ji at a music academy. He used to come to Chennai every July, and through him I got connected to Paramatma ji. So at the time, both the ashrams, Dayananda Saraswati ashram and that another ashram were together. So the Paramatmanji took classes at many places in Chennai. So that was a transition period. So first he started at a place in Chitpet, then Nungambakam High Road, then Tirupalai Pillai Road, then KK Nagar PSBB School. So, so I was continuously going. So evening, the moment I leave the office, I take a bus. At the time, there was no two-wheeler for me. So I take a bus, go there and sit with him till it will go up to night 8:30.
So what
So like you, he will talk, then he will open us for some questions.
correct,
So
correct.
that will,
So in fact, what we will do is, of course, we've all been blessed by Swami Dayananda ji either directly or indirectly through other teachers.
yes.
So there's no doubt about that. What we will do is either in this session or in the next class, we will go around the room here, and I would like everybody to introduce themselves in a short brief 1 or 2 minutes. So definitely, Venkateshan ji, let's do that. And
Yeah.
we all have a lot of stories like you to say.
Yeah, yeah.
So I appreciate your input. Venkateshan ji is in Coimbatore.
Yeah.
Happens to be in Coimbatore. I didn't know him.
Yes, yes. I am very near to the Assam. Hardly 20 kilometers. Vadavali is still nearby. I am in Velandipalayam.
Sure, sure. So I'm going to Venkateshan ji. I'm going to mute you now. I'm going to mute you. I have muted you. So when the time comes for us to introduce ourselves, let's do that. Some of you know me well. Perhaps half the class or 1/3 of the class knows me well, and many others are all new. They have somehow seen the announcement in Facebook or Twitter or something like that. Even though I have never I've never posted in Twitter. It must have been posted, I think, and they have applied to this course. I appreciate that. So some of those who don't know me, maybe they deserve an introduction. So I studied. I did my engineering in India. I finished it in 1985 um, in Chennai. In IIT Chennai, I studied and went to do my research in the US. Did my master's and PhD in chemical engineering at Purdue University in the state of Indiana. And then after that, I started working. So I worked in near Chicago for about 5 years, and then and the company moved me to Houston, which is in the state of Texas. Then I worked there for probably 20 years, 19, 20 years, 15 years in Houston, sorry. And then for a couple of years, I was there in Columbus. I quit that job, went to Columbus, Ohio, and then I returned to India about 2.5 years ago, primarily to take care of my parents. And but at the same time, when I was here, there was a long-term course, Vedanta and Sanskrit course happening at Anaikatti Ashram. Anaikatti is a place where the Arsha Vidya Gurukulam, the ashram founded by Swami Dayananda Saraswati ji, was conducting a course, and I got the opportunity to join that course. So I was there for about a little less than 2 years, living in the ashram, and so now I'm staying in a small apartment here in very close to my parents' home. And while I was working in Houston in '96, I had the opportunity to visit the ashram in the US, Swamiji's ashram. There is one in the US also. And one of my friends had told me, Jayakumar, you must go to this ashram. I think you will like Swamiji's talks. And at that time, I had no background of Vedanta. I had very little background of Hinduism itself. I used to do my Sandhya Vandanam and Anushtanam. And I knew the Ramayana, Mahabharatam and things like that. But I really did not know beyond all that. So I had not even gone to an ashram before. I had not gone to any Ramakrishna mission or any other ashram before. So when my friend said you should go to the ashram, I did not know what to expect. I had not met any Swamiji. Some of you have associations with Swamiji since childhood. Since they were born, Swamiji has given the name. So that kind of association some of you have. But in my case, I had no such association. And I don't know what Swamiji will talk in an ashram. And how will I benefit by going to the ashram? All this, I had no idea. So one weekend, the last week of 1996, Christmas week, I heard there was some camp that was going on, and so I went there. And Swamiji had just arrived from India. He had just landed in New York, and he drove to the ashram at 8 o'clock in the evening. And satsang was there. We were all waiting, and he came straight to the satsang hall, and I still remember those days very vividly. And so that camp was on an Upanishad called Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And I had no idea what an Upanishad is, leave alone Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. I didn't know that there were many Upanishads, this, that, no idea. So Swamiji was talking, and if you all remember his style, he likes to tell stories, and he communicates the topic of Vedanta in a very unique way, and he has a very unique sense of humor. So that week was a defining week for me, and so somehow it felt as though many questions I had, and many doubts I had, many confusions I had, suddenly got clarified in just that 1 week. In fact, just in about 2 or 3 days of 6-7 classes. So since then, I've been listening to his talks. I've been reading his books, and I've been very blessed to be associated with all the Swamijis who used to come to the Ashavidya Gurukulam in India and in the US. And so I cannot, if I start listing the names of Swamis, it'll be a big list. So it's a real big blessing that I have received from them. And then in Houston, we used to have our own classes. And Swapnaji, who is there here on my screen, she's appearing second on the second row. She's second, but in your screen, I don't know how it appears. So we were part of the same class, and Bharat Prasad is here. Then we were all part of the classes that we had in Houston. Like the classes happening in other places. I'm sure Coimbatore it's happening. In Columbus, Ohio, Sanjeev Nayarji is there. It's happening there. And so we used to study. We used to meet every week. Once a week, we used to meet for 2 hours and study the Bhagavad Gita. And we used to do that. We used to conduct classes in Sanskrit. And one class became 2 classes. 2 classes became 4 classes. And I think, Swapnaji, how many classes are going on there now? Perhaps 2 Saturday, full Sunday, and even weekdays these days, evenings, 7 o'clock, 7:30, 1 hour, 2 hours. A lot of classes are happening. So I was part of that learning group. And so that was my background basically. And so now my job is really, I'm spending time studying some of the things that I wanted to review or to study that I have not studied, and sharing my knowledge to anybody who feels they would like to know. So that is my background. what we will do is we will we have sought the blessings of our acharyas. So we will continue a little bit. I will continue for another 10-15 minutes, so we can begin the topic today, and then we will open up for some questions and maybe some introductions. We can introduce each other also. So now our time is about 6:35 here in India. So Tattvabodha is not a traditional text. It is not like, suppose, if you all have heard about Adi Shankaracharya, etc., written many texts. Tattvabodha is not Bhagavad Gita. Tattvabodha is not an Upanishad. Tattavabodha is not part of the Vedas. It is a text written by somebody many years ago. And like Shankaracharya wrote many texts, like Dakshinamurti Stotram, like Upadesha Sahasri. These are all texts written by Shankaracharya and others. And every Acharya who has studied Vedanta will know all these texts. If they have not studied, at least they will know, yes, Upadesha Sahasri was written by Shankaracharya. Like that they will know. But Tattvabodha, the story is a little different. And Pujya Swamiji has a story to say. And he said he did not know about this text. So if Pujya Swamiji did not know about this text, it's very likely that most of the Swamijis of this world did not know about this text at that time. I think that's reasonable to say. So once Swamiji from Fiji, from the island of Fiji, came to Swamiji and said, Swamiji, please teach me Bhagavad Gita in 10 classes. Bhagavad Gita, there are 18 chapters. And he wants to learn Bhagavad Gita in 10 classes. So Swamiji was very curious, it seems. He said, what is this 10 classes business? Why don't you study? What have you studied? And why don't you study Bhagavad Gita properly? I can teach you. He was in Rishikesh at that time. I am available to teach you. He said, no, Swamiji, somebody has invited me to go to US and I have to give 10 talks. So I just want to know 10 talks from you. So Swamiji said, oh, this is very interesting. And Swamiji did not get upset or anything. So he said, okay, since somebody asks, in our tradition, when somebody asks like this, generally they won't refuse. They will give something back. And so Swamiji said, I should teach him something. And I don't want to teach him Bhagavad Gita in 10 days, but I will teach him Vedanta in 10 days. So it seems, he had some many old books. And, all our textbooks written by our acharyas are all big. And if they are all small, like Dakshinamurti Stotram is very small. It has only 10 verses. But Dakshinamurti Stotram, to study it, we need to understand a lot of Vedanta first. Then only we enter into Dakshinamurti Stotram. So you can't, there is no book that immediately says, yeah, here, this is the first book of Vedanta. There is no such thing like that. So Swamiji was looking through his library, it seems. And then he found a small book. And it says Tattvabodha. And he looked through it. And then he finds a dialogue by Q&A like that he finds. And he looks through it and he says, yeah, this seems like a very good text to teach. So most likely this must have happened some 60 years ago or something like that, 70 years ago, I don't know. So it must have happened. So then he taught Tattvabodha, and after he taught it, he found that it works. It works means whoever listened to it benefited from it. And so since then, whenever Swamiji used to conduct classes, especially when we wanted to do an introduction to Vedanta, he used to teach this textbook. So don't be surprised if you tell your friends, I am studying Tattvabodha, they might ask, what is Tattvabodha? So unlike if you say I am studying Bhagavad Gita, generally nobody will ask what is Bhagavad Gita, but they may ask you this question, Tattvabodha, what is it? So that's the history. Tattavabodha is not a traditional, not a very popular text. It is not a Prakarana Grantha, but now it has become a Prakarana Grantha because of this the way Swamiji has been teaching us. And since then, the book is being taught in many places. Many of Swamiji's students, of course, teach it, and and it's a nice book. So we will not get into the textbook itself right away. Some of you have a lot of background in Vedanta, and others, based on the inputs you have given, have very little background. And so it is important that we all start with some of the basics. So in this basics, what I will be covering are 2 or 3 main topics. The first topic will be what is called Purushartha. Purushartha. So it is a Sanskrit word which I think is appearing in all Indian languages also. So Purushartha is there. So Purushartha means what is a human being really seeking? Just an analysis of human life which has been categorized into a few categories, 4 categories. That is Purushartha. Then the second big topic we have to cover is Pramana Vichara. Pramana Vichara. So topic of Pramana becomes very important. What is Pramanam? Pramana means a means of knowledge. All that becomes important, and so that becomes a big topic of discussion. Then the third topic is, why is the Shastram considered as a Pramanam? And we will understand that when we understand what Pramanam is. How can the Shastram, in what way the Shastram removes the ignorance that I have about some of these important topics. And the last topic maybe will be what type of knowledge this is. Whether it is a Siddha Vishaya or Sadhya Vishaya. We will talk about it later. Whether this knowledge we are looking for is already accomplished or it is something to be accomplished. It's a very important topic, and we will cover that during this introduction. So this will go on for about, I don't know how long, but perhaps 5 classes, 6 classes, 7 classes like that. And some of you already have this background with you. So you are welcome not to attend those classes, and you will miss nothing when you come to Tattvabodha. But if you want to refresh yourself, if it has been a while since you studied Vedanta, or if you are entirely new to Vedanta, I strongly recommend that you attend these classes. Vedanta is not another subject like many of the subjects we have studied in school and in college. We have studied biology, we have studied mathematics, we have studied geography, social studies, this, that, list is endless. Then we go to college. In college, there is further subdivision. Previously, I studied chemistry. In college, I studied chemistry 101, chemistry 201, chemistry 301, chemistry 401. Then, because I am a chemical engineering specialist, In masters and PhD also I studied even more chemical engineering. So there seems to be no end to specialization. You think you know chemistry, and then suddenly there is another topic that comes, and then that tells you you really don't know all the chemistry there is to know. So like this, there are all these subjects we have taken. We have taken languages. There are many languages we have learned, and then there are advanced subjects that we normally don't learn in school or college, like anthropology, epistemology, even psychology. It's not that. No, not everybody takes that subject. So like this ologies, there are so many ologies. Every ology is a subject. And so now, are we studying Vedantology? Another ology, right? Another subject. And many people are studying Vedanta, so it must be a pretty cool subject to study. They say cool. So are we studying Vedanta to feel, everybody is studying Bhagavad Gita, so I must also study Bhagavad Gita. So is that the reason why we are studying Vedanta? So Swamiji would say, no, that is not the reason we are here. This is not like learning, I want to learn another computing language, Java. I know Java, so what is the next language I want to know? It's not like that. So we will learn why this is not like that. Because this is a topic that addresses the human being. It is a topic that addresses myself. This is a topic that addresses who I am. It addresses the problems I am going through. It seems to provide, I will say right now, seems to provide, until we actually discover what it is. It seems to provide answers to some of the fundamental questions we have about ourselves and about this life. So I'm going to pause now. I'm reminding myself that I should pause and ask everybody, are you all able to hear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Nice.
Yes.
Yes.
So I have to say this because there may be some fancy toward the subject. Because one person, when I saw the registration form, they said that I want to study Vedanta because I want to broaden my spectrum. I want to broaden my understanding of Indian culture. Yes, if you study Vedanta, yes, you will broaden your understanding. In fact, Vedanta is the foundation. It is the foundation of Hindu Dharma. That is what I learned when I studied Vedanta. Only after studying Vedanta, I was able to really appreciate all about our Indian culture, whether it is Bharatanatyam, whether it is classical music, Hindustani classical music, or South Indian, so-called Dakshina, Southern Indian classical music, whether it is our temples, our temple architecture, whether it is the pujas we do, whether it is all the stotras we chant in the morning and evening and we try to teach our children. Everything I was able to understand only because of Vedanta. I can say that very confidently. So I can confidently say Vedanta is the foundation of Hindu Dharma. You can understand Hindu Dharma even without Vedanta. Of course, in fact, we teach all our children about Ramayana, Mahabharata. We teach them slokas. We make them do all these dramas. We teach them Bhagavad Gita, and that for the senior students. So all that is done. So they all enjoy. We all have learned Hindu Dharma without understanding Vedanta, really speaking. So that is okay. So that's very important. That is much needed. But when we study Vedanta, the real understanding of our Hindu Dharma happens. And suddenly the mind becomes very calm. Suddenly, you see reason in everything. Instead of asking, how come so many people are crowding into the temple like this? I can't even see Swami. I'm going to a big temple and the God is not even visible to me because there is so much crowd. And the Purohit is saying, Om na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. I'm struggling to see. And oh, I can see a little light, some small lamp there. And the Vigraha is not visible properly. There is no light inside. And suddenly, even that becomes clear when we study Vedanta. For these children, young children, we have to explain all these things. We've had children's classes in Houston, and they have all these questions. Why are they doing? I don't understand anything that the Purohit, the Pandit is telling in the temple. Why should I go to the temple? Children will ask all these questions. Good questions. It is our responsibility to answer all that. So that is Vedanta. And for the next few weeks, we will go through this kind of a discussion, and hopefully we will succeed in learning some of the basic concepts of Vedanta before entering into the textbook of Tattvabodha. So I'm going to pause this talk right now. We have about 9 minutes or 8 minutes left. And so what we will do is, perhaps what we should do now is a good time for each person to introduce themselves, briefly tell us where you are. Like these days, those days we used to have only landline phone. So when we call somebody, we never used to say, where are you? But these days, when we call on the cell phone, we have to ask them, where are you? Are you inside the home? Are you outside? Are you in India? Are you in US? Are you in Coimbatore? Where are you? We have to ask because the phone can be anywhere. So like that, this technology is like that. People can call from anywhere. So please tell us your background, perhaps your educational background, where you're calling from, perhaps your family background if you're interested to say that, and your background in Vedanta. Briefly, please be brief so that if we can speak for a minute each, we can cover everybody. So I will just call out your name, and what you do is, as a practice, you can unmute yourself and then start speaking. And after you finish, you can mute yourself. This may be a good practice for all of us. Okay, Hem Rampal is the first on my screen.
Yeah, so I'm based in Chennai, and I graduated from IIT in 2012 and IIT Madras, and I've been working in a research lab there ever since till last year. And now I have joined a startup, and I'm part of a startup now. We're developing a medical device. So I actually discovered Vedanta like last year, and through Swami Sarvapriyanand's online YouTube talks.
Swami Sarvapriyananda?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and ever since then, I've been seeing a lot of lectures on Digdrishya Vivek and Aparokshanubhuti.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So
and
that provides you the background, and you already have some idea at least of this approach Anubhuti and all, very advanced texts actually. So very happy that you have decided to take this course, and I think it will complement everything else that you're studying. Thank you, Hem Rampal. And you are located in
Chennai.
Chennai. Okay, very good. Nice to have you here. Venkateshan ji. Yeah, you have to unmute yourself first.
So I was born and brought out in Chennai only. I studied in Hindu High School, Triplicane. Then I did a BSc in Vivekananda College. After 3 years of graduation, I joined MIT, Madras Institute of Technology for Electronics Engineering. So afterwards, I was taken in a campus interview in Electronics Corporation of India Limited. At the time, there was no PC or anything. So we used to manufacture mini and mainframe computers with the technology know-how from BRC, Bombay. So I was doing for 2 years. I was doing production R&D at Hyderabad. Then I moved to Chennai for maintenance. So till 2005, I worked in various capacities. At that time, all these things happened. So I was able to see Pujyasri Dayananda Saraswati and listen to lectures, listen to classes of Paramatma Andanji. And I was participating in Aim for Seva. I used to conduct some get-togethers at Aim for Seva. At the time, I was at KK Nagar, Chennai. So suddenly, there was a defense project at Hyderabad. So I was called there, and 2005 I left for Hyderabad. So it is a remote surveillance project. That is, from our borders, we have to watch the aircraft movements across the border.
So Venkateshan ji, so you have a very good background, and we discussed by email. I think my father also was in ECIL.
Yeah. It is very good, very good.
So
I have seen your
so,
father.
so just so that we conclude quickly, so that there are many more people.
Yeah. Okay.
I think your background was that you used to listen to Pujya Swamiji's talks. And,
Yeah.
And so you have perhaps studied some texts. And have you studied Tattvabodha before?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
And recently I am doing this Vasishtha Yoga. So this is a talk given by Vasishtha to Rama.
Okay.
So like everybody, Rama also fit into some depression kind of thing, like our Buddha.
Good. So,
Siddhartha.
So good. You let us know about. I have not studied it.
Yeah.
I would like to.
So there is a Sivananda. There is a book.
Perhaps
Sivananda.
we can do Venkateshan ji.
Yes.
What we will do is offline.
Okay.
Offline,
Okay.
we can take it up. And
Okay.
after the class, we can talk further also.
Okay.
It's all right. I'm going to mute you, and I would request Revati ji, who is in Coimbatore also, to briefly introduce yourself.
Namaskaram. I'm Revati. I live in Nananani, and I'm a real estate person from bank. I'm a bank manager. I was a bank manager. Now are you able to hear me?
Yeah, so it is not as good as others, but I can hear you.
Yeah, and I got introduced to this type of through Velakuri Krishnan Swami, who is in Srirangam. He introduced me to this knowledge. So from that day, from 2011, I have been so much involved in this. Thank God, I got a good teacher like you who has brought me to this field. So I'm happy to meet you all. Wish you all the best. Thank you. Let us proceed with the course. Thank you.
Thank you, Revati ji. Deepa ji.
Namaste, Jayakumar ji. I live in Columbus, Ohio. I did my master's in India. I work here for the state of Ohio Medicaid. I live in Columbus, Ohio, so I work for the state of Ohio.
Yeah, 1 second.
Okay, sure.
I think that's what I think the problem is on my side. I had not looked up this speaker. Yeah, go ahead.
I got introduced into Bhagavad Gita starting like 15 years ago. Before that, I was doing Art of Living. So I listen mostly to Nachur, Swamiji, Nachur Venkataramanan. And that's my background, Swamiji. That's all I have.
Sure. So I missed the point where are you located, Deepaji?
Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a wife of Sajeev Nair.
Oh yeah. Okay, all right. Very nice. Okay. So Ravi Janakji.
Namaskar everyone. I am from San Jose. I am in San Jose now. Actually, I am originally from Andhra Pradesh, Hyderabad, and I am in US for the past 30 years. Lived in Atlanta for about 25 plus years. Moved to Silicon Valley recently. I'm an entrepreneur, in this, and as far as my spiritual activity is concerned, I've been in several places. Was in a meditation called Sajumarg in Chennai, it is there. Ramachandra Mission. I was there for about 16, 17 years. And, basically I follow my wife wherever she takes me more than me. So I happened to see this on, I think, on Facebook or something like that. I was interested in it. I do have some understanding of Vedanta Upanishads. I read a few things and I also listened to a few of the videos and things like that. I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Raviji. And thanks to your wife for bringing you here. Swapna ji.
Namaste. I live in Houston, Texas. Been here for the past 20 years. I studied in India. My background is I studied social work in Tata Institute of Social Sciences. So I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I grew up in Jamshedpur, and my mother was the one. I guess I got introduced to Swamiji and Vedanta because she is a student of Vedanta. So as early as I can remember, 8 or 9 years old, I was around Swamiji, and the Shastras have been around me, but I've never been a very serious student. 2006 was when I got introduced to Jayakumar ji, and we were all in a satsang together learning Bhagavad Gita. And so since then I have been off on student, aspiring to be a more serious student. And so whenever I'm getting a chance, I'm taking it. So thank you, Jayakumar ji, for accepting me as your student. So namaste, everybody.
Thanks. Nice to see you, Swapna ji. And Swapna ji's parents live right here, right next to you. Just a 1 minute walk from my home. And, so nice to see you. Sandeep Deshpande ji.
Namaste everybody. I'm Sandeep Deshmukh. I live in Nasik in Maharashtra, India. I have studied chemical engineering from Mumbai University, and here in Nasik I am with a chemicals manufacturing firm working with them. My exposure to Vedanta is zero. This is my first brush with Vedanta, and I'm very eagerly looking forward to what's going to unfold. So I'm quite excited to be on this journey. Thank you, Jayakumar ji.
Thanks, Sandeep ji. I should have, after being in the Sanskrit class, I should have at least learned to pronounce your name properly. Sandeep, I said
That's okay.
Deshmukh. So very nice to have you. And another chemical engineer in the team. So
yeah.
Rangan Chitra ji.
Hello, I'm Chitra Ranganathan. I live in Nana Nani. I think from the childhood itself, we are exposed to Vedanta without knowing what it is. So, whatever I have been exposed to is coming to some sort of light. Oh, this is why we have been doing this. So, I think whatever is there in my mind is coming to some sort of organized knowledge. That is my perception of Vedanta. Okay, fine. Thank you all.
Thank you, Chitra ji. And I think that's a very powerful statement to say. Somehow we are exposed to Vedanta from childhood. So nobody
That's
told
it.
us. Nobody told us this is Vedanta. This is Advaita.
Yeah, nobody tells us, but we are exposed to it.
So in I'm going to mute yourself, Chitraji. And when we do Sandhya Vandanam, Sandhya Vandanam is a daily ritual we have to do. Those who got the sacred thread, Upanayanam, Yajnopavidam, have to do. And we used to do as children. We used to simply repeat and do all these things. And after studying Vedanta, when I look at those mantras, there is one mantra which says this. The Pandit those days used to tell me, you keep your hand like this on your chest. Deeply, just look at the sun. Imagine the sun and say, Asau Aditya Brahma Brahmai Vaham Asmi. That's all it says. So I used to say, close my eyes. I used to see, even now I imagine the sun, even today morning. And I used to imagine the sun. I will say, Asau Aditya Brahma Brahmai Vaham Asmi. But now I can't say this mantra without understanding it. And what this mantra says is, that sun is Brahma. I am that same Brahma. That is all this mantra says. So this is a Mahavakyam. And we've been chanting this Mahavakyam for so long without knowing. So yes, so Chitradi is very true, very correct, that somehow we are exposed to Vedanta. And we are hoping that we will get that opportunity to formally grasp that. Thank you. Vishnu R G.
Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. I'm Vishnu Ramamurthy. I'm based in Bangalore. So am I audible? I am working in Indian Space Research Organization. So I did my master's in IIT Kharagpur. So on weekends I'm learning this some Veda mantras under Shrotriya. So it's more on Veda Adhyayana and all those things. But however, I'm not exposed to Vedanta. So only Taittiriya Upanishad from Ramakrishna Mission book. After my Upadesha was over for Veda Adhyayana, that I studied on my own. Apart from that, I'm not having any knowledge. This is my first formal Vedanta class. So I just thought I'll benefit from it, and I'm following Sringeri Shankaracharya as my guru. Very deeply indebted that you included me in your group for studying. So thank you. That's my brief introduction.
Yeah, so definitely very blessed to have Sringeri Acharyaji's blessings. His presence in India, especially southern part of India, is all empowering. And in fact, Sringeri Matha gave an award, I think, an award to Swami Dayananda Ji.
Yeah.
Adi Shankaracharya award.
Yeah. I followed that.
Some 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was there at the Teni last 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
At Omkaranandaji's ashram. And
yeah.
that was also blessed by Sringeri Acharya.
Sringeri Acharya, yeah. I follow little Sringeri Acharya's Anugrah Bhashanams. Apart from that, no other Vedanta.
Okay. So this, this class will be useful to you also.
Thank you.
Okay, now the time is 7:10. So in terms of the timing of this class, generally the class, my speaking part will not last more than 1 hour. So maybe even 50 minutes or 55 minutes. I don't want to go more than 1 hour, because that's been the tradition also. And I don't want to do anything. I don't want to be too creative in these areas. And there are some areas where we need to be creative, and some areas where we just say, Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha, and we follow exactly what they have done. So I'm going to do the same thing, and also in a topic like this, why study for more than 1 hour? Afterwards, our attention slowly drops. And in India, it is now 7 o'clock. We have to go have breakfast. Our children are waiting. Patiently, they've been waiting. Husband is waiting. Wife is waiting. And, Kamali will be coming. There's all kinds of things going on here. So, there are all these restrictions also. So that's the time. So now it is 7:10. And I understand this is the first class. So those who want to leave are welcome to leave. I am recording these sessions, and all these sessions will be available on YouTube. And so, by any chance, if any of you could not attend a class, then I encourage you to catch up, because every class will be based on the other class, and so it is useful for you to catch up. And these are all only 1 hour sessions, so that should not be difficult. So that's what will happen. So if anybody who wants to leave are welcome to leave, but we are going to continue the introductions, and these introductions will be on the YouTube also. So if you want to catch up later, you can do that. So with that, we are going to continue, and Vasanta ji is there from Coimbatore.
I am Mrs. Vasanta Srinivasan. Working as a teacher past 25 years. Now I am staying at Nana Nani homes where Guruji's parents are here. Before attending the class, I thought Vedanta is a big word. We can't understand all those things. After coming under the Guruji's teaching, I came to know what we are following in our life, daily life. These are all comes under Vedanta. So that much of simple this one. But without knowing, we are followed all those things. So now I am much interested to learn Vedanta. That's why I am attending all these classes. So it is I am very grateful to our Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you, Vasanta ji. And in the classes that we used to have in Nana Nani, you will hear this word occasionally. Don't be surprised. It's basically a name of one of the senior citizens' homes in Coimbatore. And my parents are living there, and Chitra ji and Vasanta ji, Revati ji are all living there. And so that's what Nana Nani means. And so there, when we used to have the classes, see, I'm used to talking in English. And when you're sitting in Tamil Nadu and when you talk, it is important to talk in Tamil, especially when the audience is all Tamil based. And so that was new to me. And so I used to tell our aunties that, Amma, I will try my best to speak in Tamil, but I only colloquial Tamil I know. I grew up in Hyderabad. Hindi, Telugu, I can speak. Tamil, of course, I can speak, but colloquial Tamil. And so all these words just come up. I won't know the meanings in English, in Tamil. And so they were helping me. They were actually teaching me that this word means this in Tamil. Like that, they used to say dharma means aram. So like that I learned. So I'm learning a few, words also. I learned a lot from them. Thank you, Vasanta ji. Katti Narahari ji.
Namaste. I hope everyone can hear me. My name is Katti Narahari. I am from Bangalore. I belong to a traditional parampara family. Though it is my first time I'm getting into the ocean of Vedanta. Thank you, Jayakumar ji, for accepting me as your Shishya. From an education point of view, I'm a Bachelor of Commerce. From commerce, I leaped into the world of IT technology. I'm a freelancer to SAP worldwide, and I also belong to a traditional Jyotish family. I teach Jyotish every weekend. I conduct many seminars and workshops in Bangalore, and I belong to Bangalore. Thank you very much. I'm also a panelist as an astrologer in the Art of Living International Ashram, Bangalore. Thank you.
Yeah, very nice to have you, Katti Narahari ji. And Jyotish is another vast ocean, and very, very humbled to have you here. And it's a Vedanga, and I hope this Vedanta will help you connect some of the dots, perhaps, that you might see in Jyotish. Sunita Chavendra ji.
Namaste, everybody. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. And I've been introduced to Veda chanting learning from Sri Ashwat ji in Columbus. And I also have been taking Gita class along with Sajeev from a teacher, Rekha Venkatesh. She is a student. She listens to Swami Paramarthananda's talks and uses his teachings as the background to teach us the Gita. So that's how I have some knowledge into the Tattvabodha. I'm here to reinforce my learnings and learn some more. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sunita ji. Sunita ji is also part of our Sanskritam classes. Next, I see my screen is Sundar Swaminathan ji.
Good morning, everyone from Chennai. I'm from Chennai. I did my bachelor's in chemical engineering from Annama University. Then I went to US. I did my master's in chemical engineering from Auburn University, Alabama. I stayed in US for 18 years. Then I came back to India in 2006 because of my son. My son, I introduced him to Veda. He's almost a full-fledged Yajurvedi. He's now doing his mechanical engineering from NIT Trichy. That actually, doing Upanayam to him made me do Sandhyavandanam all 3 times. And then I started listening to Swami Paramatmanandaji's Sandhyavandanam Bhashyam. In that, he was telling me about Gayatri Mantram. He said, I've discussed this in detail in Tattvabodha. From that on, I wanted to know what this Tattvabodha is. So that's the reason why I joined this class. And I also listened to, and I'm also doing my MA in Sanskrit from Shastra University. I'm doing my second year. In the second year, we have Vedanta Sara, we have Ishava Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita chapter 12 and Yoga Sutras. So in that way, I actually came to this site where the classes said Tattvabodha classes are going to start. I registered with Swamiji, and thanks to Swamiji for accepting me as a student. I really want to know what this Vedanta is, as well as, since I have all these courses in MA second year, I wanted to, put a base, what is Vedanta Sara, what is, Ishava Upanishad, etc. And that's why I'm here. I've listened to a lot of discourses by Swami Guru Parananda, Nochur Venkatraman, and Sudanandaji, I think Sunandaji from Vedanta University Institute. But never I could connect. So I thought, okay, I'll do it here. And for all the people who want to do MA, Shastra is actually continuing its MA series again. So this year they are starting again the MA first year. It is a pretty good course. I would encourage everybody to join. So that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sundar ji. And so you have a very good experience, and now you are studying Sanskrit. That's very inspiring, and these days I'm also now learning. I've been wanting to learn Kalidasa's Raghuvamsham Ityadi. So I think Vyoma Sanskrit Labs is conducting many of these classes. So I'm already part of. I'm learning part of 2 of their classes. One is Panini Vyakaranam and another is Shiksha that was recently started. So that's a very, but I think Shastra is a great university. It's a big blessing for Tamil Nadu, a land where sometimes we wonder whether Dharma is there or not. And so Shastra is a great blessing, and I think we are very happy to have you here. Thank you, Sundar. Ashutosh Gupta.
Hello, everyone. I'm based in Austin, Texas. And I'm an electronics engineer, did my engineering in Bangalore. I'm originally from Dehradun, Uttarakhand. And I did my MBA from North Carolina in USA. And I've been working for a tech company here. I recently moved to Austin, Texas. And my experience with Vedanta is almost zero, but I'm very interested in learning about it because I've read the stories of Adi Shankaracharya and how he toured India and how he was able to unite all of the different factions in Hinduism at that point in time. and I'm trying to learn about about our great Indian traditions by reading Ek Devroy's unabridged Mahabharata. I'm on volume 2. I'm reading Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. I've read a number of books of Swami Vivekanand and Sri Aurobindo. So thank you, sir, for accepting me in this course. I don't have much knowledge or background on Vedanta, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to contribute at least something and learn a lot from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ashutosh ji. Thank you. Austin is a nice place. I love Austin.
Oh, yes, yeah. Not very far from Houston.
Yeah. Bhagya ji.
Namaskaram. My name is Bhagya. I also live in Columbus, Ohio, and I have been learning Vedic chanting from Sri Ashwatji, like Sunita. And I also go to the Sanskrit class to Rekha Venkatesh, along with Sajeev and Sunita. That's where I have some exposure to Tattvabodha. We've been doing Tattvabodha there as well. For me, I'm primarily a yoga practitioner, and I found that Vedic chanting has been a stimulant to my spiritual experience and evolution. So I feel like Vedanta will be a good tool to deepen my spiritual experience, and that's the primary purpose for learning Vedanta for me. And I think Tattvabodha is like a glossary, basically, of terms used in Vedanta. So I'm interested in getting a good handle on those.
Thank you, Bhagya ji. Bhagya ji is also part of our Sanskritam class. Yeah, definitely. I think Vedanta will help you understand Patanjali Yoga better. Next person on my screen is Mohini Ravji.
Namaste. I'm Mohini. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. My spiritual journey started here with Sri Ashwatji, my Guruji, who taught me whatever little bit I know. I'm indebted to him, and also to Rekha Venkatesh. She has introduced me to Tattvabodha and other Vedic chanting and other things that we do here in Columbus, Ohio. So that's my simple beginning in Vedanta studies. For my livelihood, I am a physician. I work here in Columbus, Ohio. That's fine.
Thank you, Mohini ji. And please convey our deepest pranams to Ashwat ji.
Yeah,
sure. I was in Columbus only for a short time, but very impressed by all this service, seva, and teaching. Sajeev Nair.
Namaste all. I'm Sajeev Nair in Columbus, Ohio too. My background is in electronics and communication engineering, but has been working as in the IT field for more than 20 years. I've been introduced to spirituality like for the past 7 years. Been practicing, been having weekly satsangs, listening to Bhagavad Gita. We started with reading Swami Chinmayananda's Bhagavad Gita book, and then we came to Swami Paramarthananda's audio CDs. So every week we meet and we listen to one lecture and we talk about it. And then I'm also attending Rekha Venkatesh's Bhagavad Gita classes and Jayakumar ji and Rekha ji's Sanskrit classes. The more we are learning this, I'm knowing how little I know. So I think definitely I'm looking forward to this class where I can learn the terminologies better, so I can have a better understanding of Vedanta. Live in Columbus with my wife and 2 kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Nice to hear back from you.
Thanks, Jayakumar ji. Thank you so much for all your service and help.
Haraprasad ji.
Sorry, I joined late. I got locked out. I went to feed a stray cat, and somehow the door got locked and nobody was home. And I had to call a locksmith. Took me 1 hour, spent a lot of money. So I'm sorry I'm late. I'm Halaprasad from Houston. I've been a student of Vedanta for a while, and I love to learn from Jayakumar. Jayakumar was our teacher in Bhagavad Gita classes while he was here in Houston. He's a great teacher, and we were all very sad that he left us and went back to India. But things are going fine here, and we are continuing the same classes. And probably in a couple of years, we will complete the Swami Dayananda Saraswati's Bhagavad Gita commentary. Thank you, Jayakumar, for all your help and guidance. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Haraprasad ji. Thank you, and my regards to all our friends there at Bel Air. And I hope this is not very basic. One of the things I did say when you were not in the class is that the first 4 to 5 to 6 weeks is going to be an introduction to Vedanta. So it will be somewhat basic to you probably, and so you can use your discretion whether to attend these first few weeks or not. Okay. Sunita ji. Sunita Chevendra, you already introduced yourself? No. Sorry.
I already did.
Okay, so okay, Mary is here. Mary ji. She's still there. Okay. Yeah, Mary, go ahead. We can hear you now.
All right. I'm Mary. So my introduction is what? I'm a teacher by profession. My philosopher, guide, friend, brother is Jayakumar, so it says a lot. I'm inspired by all he does, and I'm here as a student finally to learn from him.
Nice to.
My journey started 20 years ago, but it has taken 20 years to get where I am. And I'm married to Jayakumar's younger brother.
Yeah, nice to have you, Mary. And Mary is a hard worker, and she's one of the best teachers in Houston. She's extremely good at engaging children and understanding their psychology and reading between the lines. So we are, in fact, if I have a tough problem, I approach Mary. So she's so good. And so very nice to have you, Mary. And
thank you.
Hope this is remember, this is another hour from your time, from your weekly schedule. So you have to think about that.
Sure.
So I've muted you, and Pandu ji is here from Houston, I think. Let's see. Pandu ji, are you still there? I have unmuted you. Yeah, so we cannot hear Pandu ji. So I will mute him, and I will unmute. I think Pandu ji's wife, Rangaji, is calling. Can you hear me, Rangaji?
This is Pandu. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Jayakumarji, can you hear me? Okay. Namaskaram, everyone. My name is Pandu. I live in Houston, actually Sugarland, very close to Houston. I know Jayakumarji for a long time. Thank you very much for accepting me as your student today in this class. We have been attending Bhagavad Gita class here in Sugarland at AVB, Ashya Vidya with Sandraji and Hemaji for about almost 8 years now. We are in chapter 17, I think, end of chapter 17 right now. I go to Silasburg Ashram, Swamiji's ashram here in Silasburg. Every year I try to go
See, sign language works really well. Sign language works really well. So once again, thank you all for joining. And about 86 people had signed up for the course. So I had to. I didn't like to do this, but I had to tell myself that I have to limit the number of people in a class like this. We can't have 80 people coming on video. I don't know how it will work also. So I told about 40 people that that if technology permits, we can decide on expanding this. But for now, there will be only about 30-35 people. And so I sent an invitation to about 35, probably 40 individuals, I think. And so we will see how many of them turn up in these classes. And one of the things I will do is, if there is a lot of absenteeism, I will politely ask the person to excuse themselves. This is just 1 hour a week, and I think it is important to continuously attend these classes so that we can all benefit. And so please observe that discipline. And if for any reason you are not able to attend, if for some reason you're not able to attend, then please let me know. After all, the classes are being recorded. But one of the disadvantages of these recordings is, I think many of you must have experienced it. This idea comes that I will watch it later, or I will listen to it later, and that later never comes. And so that's a big problem. And so we all fall into that trap. And so please observe that, and let's respect our Shastram and our Acharyas. And I pray once again that before I say that, let me see if Rangaji is here. Yeah, there is an echo coming from you, Panduji. I think that's because you have 2 microphones, probably. And that's why the echo is coming. So if you have a microphone on your computer and your cell phone, then the echo will come. So I'm going to unmute you now again. Okay, now.
Namaste, Jayakumar ji and everybody. This is Ranganayaki Pandurangan. I've been living in Houston for 15 years, and before that we lived in College Station. I have a background in agriculture and statistics. I worked for healthcare and Texas A&M University. Right now, I got associated. I know Jayakumar ji through Hema ji and Chandrasekhar ji. I've been associated with Hema ji and Chandrasekhar ji's Sanskritam class and Bhagavad Gita classes for the past 6 or 8 years. Like Swapna ji said, I'm on and off, not like her, very serious, learning Sanskritam and Bhagavad Gita, attending the classes regularly. Yeah, that's how I associated with them. We also visited Anekati and the ashramam here in Silasburg. Yeah. So and right now I'm serious in learning about Tattvabodha. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to have you here, Rangaji. Good memories of those days. and please convey our regards to Chandraji and Hemaji. Occasionally,
Sure.
we trade WhatsApp messages, and very happy that the classes are going well at their home.
Sure.
So with that, what I will do is I may ask a question. Are there any questions? So let me unmute everybody. Okay, I've unmuted everybody. And so any questions, any concerns? Yeah, Sunita Chavendra ji.
Do we need any text for this class?
Okay, so do we need any textbook? Yes, there is a textbook. It's not a requirement, but it is a textbook published based on Swamiji's talks on Tattvabodha, and it is available in our ashram here in Anaikatti. In India, it's available. If one can order it, and one can order the book also from the US ashram. So I will send the details about the book at a later time. Once we get started with the classes, it's not critical right now. So yes, there is text these days. I mean, Swamiji used to teach it without a textbook. And, it is amazing how they all taught our shastram with very little written material. And so today we are so blessed. The text is also available online, I think. So I will try to find that out and inform all of you.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
Jayakumarji, would you rather us just listen to the whole class, or do you mind people taking notes while you're talking?
Yeah. So the question is whether note taking is desirable. So when I used to attend classes, Swami's classes, I used to take notes. I never sat in any class, even a lecture, guest lecture, or if I go to somebody's visiting, I used to always have a piece of paper with me, and that is my habit. So you are welcome to take notes. Some people have a very good memory and they are able to grasp. They have that ability to. One of my friends remembers everything that he's been taught from first class, second class onwards. All subjects, all colleges, everything, all courses, everything he remembers. So I don't have that kind of memory, so I have to write notes. So you are welcome to write notes, Sajid.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
So it is 1 hour on Monday, India time, right? Morning 6 to 7:30 or something, 7 o'clock, and
yeah. So
1 hour per week.
So the timing is the talk itself will be for no more than an hour, and what we will do is open up for questions. So depending on the questions, it may go up to 7:15 or something like that. But that is my idea right now, and we will see how it goes. And whether I should open up for questioning in the middle of the class and all because of this technology, we will see how it goes along the way. But that's the time commitment, Venkatesh. Any other questions?
So this is available in mobile also. So suppose we are traveling, so we can take it and connect to internet and then listen to that.
Yeah.
I have downloaded Zoom in mobile also, so that's also getting connected.
Yeah. So yeah, these days one can the mobile phones are powerful enough to handle this, and so yes, you are welcome to call in from your mobile telephone. Just don't do it while you are driving, or
no,
don't do it from a shop or something like that. That is it seems a little as you can find a private space to do that is fine. If you can hear everybody properly, then that's what you need. Yeah. Any other questions? So Deepaji, you're also calling in, and your children are. I hope your children can handle without Sajeev and you supervising at home. So
yeah, that's right.
Maybe they will love it. Oh, father and mother, they're all locked in their rooms. So I think this is a great time for children. You're doing a lot of seva for your children. Okay. All right. So that's good. So we will meet again next week, and there is going to be a Kumbhabhishekam of the temple at the Anekati Ashram. It's a 6-day affair, and so I was planning to go there just for one day. But Swamiji called me 2 days ago and said he needed some help, and he needed some help. So I may go. I'm in fact I'm going there day after tomorrow, I think. So if I go there, I may be gone for 5 to 6 days. If that's the case, I will let you know. What we can do is, I think I may be back on Sunday or Monday. I don't know. If that is the case, the thought that occurred to me was, can we have a class on Tuesday or Wednesday? So let me take a quick poll on that. I'm going to unmute all of you. If I have a class on Tuesday morning, for example, India time, Tuesday morning India time, I know some of you have classes every week almost, so it's not possible. Will that, Hem Rampal, what about in India, will that be a problem?
No, it shouldn't be a problem. That's fine.
Okay, Venkateshan ji?
No problem, no problem.
No problem, okay. And I presume it is the same with Chitra ji and others. And what about US folks?
That's Monday night for us, right?
Monday night, yeah, Monday night.
Okay.
Yeah, it should be good. Yeah, good.
I see. Monday night, okay. So so Monday night. What about Tuesday night, Sajiji, in the US, in Columbus?
No, not possible.
Tuesday night is Wednesday. Tuesday night.
Go
Oh, Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday night. Yeah, it should be okay. That should be okay.
It's not okay.
Yeah. So in Houston, it's not comfortable. So Tuesday night they have a guitar class going on. So what about
Monday
India?
is good.
Okay.
Jayakumar, Monday is good.
Okay. Ravi Janakji, you're okay with the
Yeah.
Monday and Tuesday?
Yes.
Monday and Tuesday, okay.
Both days.
And you can use the same link every time for going to that YouTube channel. So that should be okay. Any other questions come up, please let me know. So I'm going to mute all of you while we chant the Prarthana. Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Markena Mahim Mahisha Gobhramanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasyashalini Deshoyam Shobharahitah Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaः Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaः Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Thank you all very much for joining. See you all next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.